Okay, so you wanted the inside scoop on prompt engineering, that buzzword you hear everywhere these days.
It's everywhere for a reason.
Well, get ready, because we're about to take a deep dive into what it is, why everyone's talking about it, and how you can use it to, well, basically unlock a superpower.
I like that. Unlock a superpower.
And joining us for this deep dive is an expert who can break this whole thing down like it's, well, child's play.
Happy to be here.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. What is prompt engineering?
You know, it really is like having a superpower. Imagine having this tool that can write for you, research for you, brainstorm for you. Really anything you can think of.
Okay, see, this is why you're the expert. I brought you on this deep dive. But seriously, where does prompt engineering fit into all this?
It's kind of like, okay, imagine you go to a restaurant, right? And you tell the chef, make me food.
Okay.
You're going to get food, but maybe not what you were hoping for. Prompt engineering is like walking in with a clear vision. You know exactly what flavors you want, how it should be plated, the whole 9 yards.
So instead of make me food, it's more like giving very, very specific instructions.
Exactly. Especially with these large language models. We call them LLMs for short.
LLMs. Got it.
The more specific and creative you are with what you tell them, the better the results. Take GPT-4, for instance. It's like it's read every book ever written, absorbed all this information from the internet.
Wait, hold on. Every book ever written. How is that even possible?
That's the power of LLMs. They can find these patterns and connections in tons of data, way more than we could ever process on our own.
Okay, that's pretty incredible. But how do we actually, tap into that power?
That's where prompt engineering comes in. It's about learning how to communicate what you want clearly.
So it's less about being like a tech whiz and more about just knowing how to talk to AI.
Exactly. Anyone can learn it.
That's actually really reassuring to hear. But is this something that's useful for, like, everyone? Or just people who do a lot of writing or coding?
Honestly, it's for everyone. Think about it. You could write marketing copy for your business 1 minute, then get help crafting the perfect email the next.
Okay, I'm listening.
The possibilities are truly endless.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. But let's back up for a second. How does this actually work in real life? Give me an example.
Let's say you want to write a social media post, something catchy that will grab people's attention.
Yeah.
Instead of just staring at your phone, you could tell the AI something like, write a really engaging post about my new pottery business and make sure it mentions my eco-friendly practices. Something like that.
So instead of spending hours trying to come up with the perfect words, I can just have AI do it for me. I mean, that sounds amazing, but what's the catch? There's got to be a catch, right?
The catch is you have to learn how to talk to the AI in a way it understands, which is where the whole prompt engineering thing comes in.
Got it. So it's less about being a tech genius, more about learning how to communicate with AI.
You got it. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at it.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get this. But let's break it down even further for our listener, someone who's totally new to all this. What makes a good prompt versus one that's, like, totally useless?
It all comes down to clarity. Be specific.
Specific.
Think about it like this. If you asked a person to do something for you, would they have enough information to do a good job?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So instead of saying write a story, you could say something like write a suspenseful short story about a detective in the future who's investigating a disappearance. Get specific.
So the more details, the better.
You got it.
That makes sense, actually. But is there anything else? Is it just about being specific, or is there more to it?
Oh, there's more. But that's a great place to start.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but let's say, I'm ready to take this to the next level. What are some, pro tips for someone who's ready to write some really effective prompts?
Well, first you have to remember that AI, it doesn't have a memory, really. At least not in the way that we do. So if you're working on a longer project, it can be helpful to feed the AI little snippets of what it said before, to keep it consistent.
So it's kind of like giving it a little cheat sheet.
Yeah, exactly. That way it's less likely to go off on a tangent or forget what you were talking about. And here's something else that's really cool. You can actually use prompts to refine what the AI has already generated.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Let's say you're working on a presentation, right? Yeah. And you have a draft that's, it's okay, but it needs something more. You could tell the AI something like, make this presentation more engaging, maybe add in some visuals.
Wow. So it's like having an editor and a graphic designer all in one.
That's the idea.
That's pretty powerful. Okay, but what about those times when I don't even know where to start? Like, my brain is blank. I need ideas. How can AI help me then?
That is where AI brainstorming can be a game changer. Don't be afraid to use really broad prompts like, give me 10 business ideas, something related to sustainability.
Oh, so instead of getting stuck in my own head, I can use the AI to kind of break through that.
Precisely. It can be really helpful to see what the AI comes up with, especially when you're feeling stuck. And here's another tip. Don't be afraid to treat it like a conversation.
A conversation with AI.
Yeah. Like instead of just taking the first thing the AI gives you, you could ask it follow-up questions. Let's say the AI gives you those business ideas. You could be like, okay, give me a SWOT analysis of that third idea.
Oh, okay.
Or come up with a tagline that would appeal to, people who care about the environment.
I get it. It's like having a back and forth, like you would with a real person.
Exactly. And honestly, the more you do that, the better you'll get at not just prompt engineering, but also just figuring out what you're really trying to achieve.
That's really interesting. So it's like the AI is almost making me better at my job, in a way.
Right. It can help you clarify your thinking.
That's amazing. Okay, this is all seriously impressive. Any other like ninja level prompt engineering tips before we move on?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Like you can specify what writing style you want, who your target audience is. It's really amazing what you can do.
It really is. Okay, this is a lot to process. This is like the coolest thing I've heard in a long time.
It's pretty incredible technology.
It really is. We should probably take a quick break, though, just to let all this sink in. Okay, so we're back, and I have to say, my mind is still spinning from all this talk about AI and prompt engineering.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is. But I think the question on everyone's mind is, where do I even start? This all sounds great in theory, but how do I actually use it?
That's a great question, and it's something that everyone struggles with at first. Remember how we talked about being really specific with your prompts?
Right. The more details, the better.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to get super granular, almost like you're giving instructions to a very literal friend.
Okay, so write me a poem, more like write a poem about a squirrel who collects bottle caps, and make it a metaphor for finding joy in unexpected places.
Yes. Exactly like that. When you give the AI specific details, you give it so much more to work with, and you're more likely to get something truly unique.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what happens when, like, I've put in my super detailed prompt, the AI gives me back something good, but not quite there yet? What then?
Well, you do what any good creative person does. You give feedback. Don't be afraid to tell the AI what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you want to see more of.
Wait, so I can critique the AI?
Absolutely. It's all part of the process. Remember, the AI is learning from every interaction.
Wow. So it's not just about, like, plugging in a prompt and getting a perfect result. It's more of an ongoing conversation.
Exactly. And the more you experiment and play around with it, the better you'll become at crafting prompts and guiding the AI towards what you're looking for.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better about all this. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of prompt engineering, is there one key takeaway you'd want our listener to walk away with?
Have fun with it. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things.
I love that.
Because at the end of the day, that's really what this technology is all about. Unlocking your own creativity and seeing what's possible.
That is a perfect note to end on. A huge thank you to you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of AI and prompt engineering. And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as we have. Now go out there, get creative, and see what amazing things you can achieve with the power of AI.